Hello everyone, this is Logan, and it's been a little while since I've done a review of a recent tech product, and it's also been kind of a while since I've done a review of a tech product, period. Well, that's about to change, because I'm doing a review of a tech product, and this tech product is the Roku 3. You can tell that by the fact that it has this little Roku fabric tag thing for some reason, and a big number 3 on the top. Brief history of Rokus, I suppose, considering this line hasn't been around for very long, because, you know, they've only done 3, versions of it. The first Roku was sort of like this, but, you know, a bit bigger, and had sort of more of like a matte plastic, sort of like a cheaper plastic, as opposed to, well, I'd say metallic, but really, I think this is just shiny plastic, so I don't think it's really metallic. That's about it. The second one had this shiny plastic, but, it was actually a bit smaller and a bit lighter. Now, here's the reason for that. The HDMI cables were actually heavier than the Roku, and as a result, it would actually push them behind the television. So, yeah. So that's about it. We have the Roku 3. Very minimalist design. Actually, if you want to compare and contrast this to the Apple TV, I did a review of the Apple TV. I'll probably, hopefully, be able to put it in the description, but a lot of times I get kind of lazy with that sort of thing, so if I don't, just search through my channel. I don't know, I think I only have like maybe 70 videos or something like that, and it's not really old. It's like maybe a few months old, so you should be able to find it. But hopefully I'll be able to put a link in the description. That's about it. One thing this has and the Apple TV doesn't is the USB. I'll get to that in a bit. You don't actually get USB out of the box, but it's in the channel store and it's free, so that's kind of nice. You have AC adapter, kind of looks a bit like an older thing as opposed to the Apple TV, which sort of looks like more of a PC connection. Ethernet, however, this does work with wireless. I have it currently connected to a wireless internet. And the HDMI cable. I'm not sure if this came with an HDMI cable or not. This isn't technically my Roku. This is actually technically my parents'. But, you know, I think I know enough about it to do a review. So, I'm not sure if it came with an HDMI cable, but HDMI cables are relatively cheap. You can pick them up for usually around maybe $5 or $10 at like a Walmart or a Radio Shack or something like that. So, that's about it. Now onto the remote. Alright, so here's the remote itself, and I know the first thing you're probably thinking right off the bat. Wiimote. Doesn't this look quite a lot like a Wiimote for, of course, the Nintendo Wii? Well, yes, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But as you can see, we have power. If this was a Wiimote, this would probably be somewhere along the lines of here. We have a D-pad, very similar to where the Wiimote would be. We have this and this. Here's an OK button. If this was Wii, it would probably be a bit, maybe down here. If this was a Wiimote, it would probably be down here. And the 1 and 2 buttons are... Actually, they labeled it the A and B buttons. Wow, okay, that's kind of reversed. That would have been maybe down here a bit further. Also, quite a lot like the Wii, it has this little strap thing. Quite good, not quite as good as the Nintendo Wii's thing. Feels a bit cheaper. It'll probably last, but it feels a tad bit cheaper. Also, no jacket like the Wii. Another feature of this remote, and a feature that was added to the Roku 3, is this has a headphone jack, and I'll get to that in a bit later. But you can control the volume. You might be able to hear that came out of the Roku. It has a volume, so you can listen to headphones, like let's say you don't want someone to hear what you're watching. You can just plug in a standard 3.5mm headphone jack, even though it kind of looks like it might fit something a bit more, but that's just how the jack's molded. So anyway, on to the actual Roku itself. Alright, so here's the Roku interface itself, and one of the first things you might notice is, hey, doesn't this kind of look a bit like live tiles on Windows? Like, you know, these tiles don't move, of course, no matter how long you wait, but it kind of has that same, I don't know, like, kind of tile look. There's not really much else of a way to explain it, other than that. So, here are the things that it comes with. Notice how it loops all of these things, which is kind of annoying, in my opinion, because, you know, it makes you feel like you have more things than you actually do. So let's go into Netflix. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this is just Netflix. Well, it kind of brings up a point. Something that the Apple TV doesn't have. As you can see, here is the interface. You can search right here. You can technically use the Roku remote, or you can use an iPhone app, which I would imagine would be quite a bit easier. There are actually a few iPhone apps that work with the Roku. Let's just do Leave It to Beaver. I haven't actually watched this in a very long time, but I have watched it actually when we first had Netflix. We got Netflix at one point, got rid of it, and then got it again. It somehow remembered that Leave It to Beaver was on there, so that's kind of nice. Nice thing about Netflix. So let's just look at the opening real quick. Hopefully this might be old enough that I can escape any kind of copyright problems.
Leave It to Beaver. Starring Barbara Billingsley, Hugh Beaumont.
Wonder if any of these people did anything successful after Leave It to Beaver. Alright, so you get the idea. You can go to the home menu at any time just by pushing the power button. Doesn't actually turn it off as far as I can tell, even though that doesn't really seem to matter, because I actually heard somewhere, I think it was in the manual, that this, or it might have been in somebody else's video, but this draws less power than a nightlight, so that's kind of neat. Let's go into Amazon Instant, because this kind of further proves my point. And the point is, because I didn't really elaborate on it much, these look completely different. For example, let's go into television. And as you can see, this interface looks quite a bit different than the Netflix playlist. This interface looks a lot different than the Netflix interface, because the content provider actually does the interfaces as opposed to the hardware provider itself. For example, if you ever used an Apple TV, or if you saw my video on it, you'll know that a lot of what the Apple TV has to offer is very similar. For example, Netflix and Hulu, or Netflix and YouTube's interface on here is, they're both very similar. Crackle, it's sort of like Netflix, but there's no monthly fee, and you know, it's just completely free. Amazon not Amazon, Blockbuster On Demand. I actually posted something on my personal Facebook, and I didn't actually know Blockbuster was still around, so that should tell you something. Popcorn Flicks, I've never used that. Disney, I would assume you could watch Disney things, like maybe Disney movies, or maybe you could watch the Disney Channel or something like that. Fox News, if you want political slam, that's the way to go. Dish World. Facebook, I think this only allows you to look at Facebook pictures, but I'm not entirely sure. Wall Street Journal, that's something the Apple TV has. Angry Birds, I know you probably saw that. Big Fish Instant Game, I think that's a pay-to-play service, so I haven't signed up for that. And Play On, which didn't come on the Roku itself, but my parents put it on there. So let's go to Angry Birds Space, because that's probably what you're most interested in. Because, it's a game. Now, as I said before, this looks quite a lot like a Wiimote. And here's why. It actually works over wireless. So, I could use this anywhere as long as it's within range of the Wi-Fi. So, you can use this as sort of like a motion thing, sort of like the Wii. Let's just play. Let's select that planet. Here's one. Alright, I'm not entirely sure how to do this one. But here are the controls. Since, most people are probably familiar with using Angry Birds on a touchscreen. You can use the D-pad to move if that's supported. I don't know if you can zoom in or out. I'm not sure how that would work. Would it be this? I don't know. I'm not sure how to zoom in and out. But you select... Oh. I don't know. Did I just do something? I don't know. Maybe not. But you do that, and you can move the remote-style controller like that to move the bird. You use A to grab. Let's just do it there. Why not? Okay, that didn't do much. Let's do that. Okay, yeah, I don't know how to beat this one. But you get the idea. Now, those are the built-in apps, but you can get more apps in the channel store. Actually, no, before I do that, there's another interesting feature. If you want to search for something, for example, I'm thinking of possibly watching the documentary Beatles Anthology. Is that there? Beatles Stories, Beatles, She Loves You, Beatles, The Golden Age. Okay, it's not here. It's not on one of the services. But, let's say I want to watch the Beatles Stories, some 2010 thing. As you can see, it's available on Netflix, free with subscription. It's available on Hulu, free with subscription. It's available on Vudu for $2.99, and it's available on Amazon Instant for $3.99. Now let's go into Channel Store. There's also settings, but I'm pretty sure you don't care about that. So here's the Channel Store. As you can tell, it does actually have some of the things like Big Fish. That's because if I wanted to, I could push this button. I could remove the channel if I want to, or I could just close or whatever that. So it's kind of nice. And it's not like Apple where what you see is what you get and you can't change what you get. So, there are a few other games. For example, Jeopardy. That's $1.99. I wouldn't really want to buy that because I suck at Jeopardy. Or in the words of Weird Al Yankovic, I lost on Jeopardy. Games. We have You Don't Know Jack, another popular quiz game. Stick Golf, which is $1.99. It's, the pricings for these, some of them, I think this row is free, but everything else either seems to be $1.99 or to maybe, I don't know, maybe $5 as far as games work. Danger Derby, for example, is $3.99. What is this? Super Crossfire is $1.99. Escape is $2.99. Angry Birds Space, I would assume, is free. Yeah, it is. Video Poker, yeah, that's free. So there's a few free ones. Let's just download You Don't Know Jack. Just, because we can. because you know it's free. So here's the actual interface itself. You can add the channel, you can look at ratings. Unfortunately, there's no kind of review system like the App Store. This got sort of like a 4.5 out of 5. So let's just add the channel, just to give you an idea of how fast it downloads. It's quite fast at doing so. Well, I guess not now. It's like taking a little while, but usually these things, especially like channels, don't take very long to download. Alright, that took about maybe 30 seconds to a minute, so I guess not very fast for games, but you know, it's fast enough. You can do other things like music. You can do Pandora, which is kind of nice. You can do TuneIn. I guess Amazon has some kind of audio thing. I didn't even know they were doing that. I heard they were doing some kind of Pandora service, but I didn't know what that was. So, yeah, as you can see, here are some of the things here. Here's that USB thing. Again, I'll get to that in a bit. Let's just download TuneIn. As you can see, a lot of these other things are considerably quicker. So, let's just go back. And as you can see, these are here. I added Sci-Fi Showdown in another take just to kind of demonstrate that, but I just decided not to use that take. So let's just remove that channel. Let's go into TuneIn. Link my account now, link my account later. I don't need no darn account. I guess it must have some kind of GPS, because it somehow noticed my location, and it has local stations. For example, alright, let's WITF. Alright, let's do that, because it's pretty much just PBS, NPR. Play.
One of America's greatest living rock performers. Former lead singer there, former front of the band La Tigre. There's a new album coming out in September as part of her new project, The Jew
Alright,
Ruin,
now you can tell how that works. Now, there's another feature that I kind of alluded to earlier, and that is the headphone thing. Let me quickly explain how that works. Alright, so here is my record player, just to kind of demonstrate how the music thing works. Again, you can use any 3.5mm headphone jack. I just have it plugged in through the auxiliary jack of my record player, Electro brand, whatever thing that I did a video on at one point. Which, for some reason, got like, I think almost 500 views at this point. So, here it is.
Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Nathan Raven's writing about fish.
This is the same NPR thing as was earlier on TuneIn, but it's coming through my record player. And considering that this remote works on Wi-Fi, you can use it anywhere. For example, I can, like, let's say I want to clean my room and listen to Pandora. I can do that. And of course, you can still go from the home, go to the home menu. You can even hear that going as I cycle through the channels. But, yeah, that's how that works. Alright, one last thing before I end the video, and yes, I know you're all dying for me to end the video. It's almost 18 minutes. I just kind of want to quickly, go over the, USB thing. I already went through the trouble of downloading it off camera. So, here it is. So, here is music, movies, pictures, and help, I guess. So, here's music. I have the entire Magical Mystery Tour. Wow, it actually, I haven't actually used this yet, but it, actually kept the, artwork from iTunes, which is, kinda nice. So, let's just do Fool on the Hill. It's one of my favorite Beatles songs. And also because we're kind of on a, Beatles kick. Why not? Alright. Oh, it doesn't play in the background like the, i thing does. The Apple TV. I forgot what it was called. That's kind of embarrassing. Alright, so you get the idea. Here's movies. No supported content. Okay, I had some photos on there, but I guess it doesn't read either MOV, or, not MOV, WMV. yeah, Windows Movie, yeah, I don't know, Windows Movie something, it's WMV, or, AVI, I think those are the two things I have. Here's the photo, okay, I should read JPEGs. Yep, there we go, that's just the, logo I have for my videos. Bet that was insightful. But yeah, it does technically read USB, not great on the video. I would assume it probably reads MOV, that could very well be it, but, oh, and you can also move channels, just like with Apple TV, in a recent update. But, you know, it works okay. So, that's about it with the, Roku. Do I recommend it? I don't know. If you have a PS3, I would say no. Stick with that. But if you have an Apple TV and you want something to maybe use in your room, or maybe you're just not a big Apple user, you don't have a bunch of iPods and iPads and iPhones and computers and stuff like that, you can just buy a Roku, which will pretty much do the job. So, overall, I would recommend this, but not if you have, something that's capable, like, maybe a video game console, like a Wii, or an Xbox, or a PlayStation, something like that. So anyway, that's about it. Bye.